Oh, I need to shake off some.
It's breaking the fourth wall, like Deadpool, who invented it.
Oh my goodness. I thought Phoebe Waller-Bridge invented breaking the fourth wall.
Phoebe Wallace and Gromit. You made that name up.
This is an interview with me, Alasdair Lindsay, the writer of, or co-writer of, The Elf Who Made Your Toys is on £9 an hour and hates his job.
I'm Matthew Vivian, and I directed this elf film, and I wrote it with Alasdair, and I produced and edited and did some other stuff too.
We're here to talk about an upcoming short film that I co-wrote with Matthew Vivian, who's currently behind the camera, and also that I act in, called The Elf Who's Making Your Toys is on £9 an hour and hates his job.
It's a comically long title that I like to think is memorable it stands out, but then it's also really hard for me to remember what it is, even though I came up with it.
The name Elf
good.
was already taken.
Yeah. And apparently you can't just call it Elf 2 when you didn't have the rights to the first one. I don't know why that is.
What about Elf T-O-O?
Well, yeah, that would be good.
Elves? How about it?
How about him indeed? So this film follows a group of elves working in like a modern contemporary office on Christmas Eve. And it's kind of about how the workplace has shifted in the 21st century and how that would affect like a magical workshop. It's about like the power imbalances in an office, how easy it is to abuse that power, and yeah, like how difficult it can be to feel like noticed and recognized when you're just like a cog in a bigger machine. And it's about elves working in an office. Like if you want the log line, elves work in an office. It's a mockumentary. And it's Christmas Eve and they're all stressed.
Your character, who do you play?
Sure, I play Gobble, who works in the Naughty and Nice Bureau at the North Pole. And he's in charge of like reading all the deeds that children have done that year and deciding whether they are naughty or nice, which obviously is very hard for him. He doesn't like it. It's very stressful. It's a big burden. And throughout the film, we watch that weight on his shoulders, like slowly collapsing on him like a dying star. And I really enjoyed it, actually. I had a really good time. I really like Gobble. And even though when we started making this, I was like, I don't really want to be in it. I am really glad that I got to do this part. It was really fun. Everyone else on set is like really nice and again really talented. They all really know what they're doing. And we had some like old faces on there, of some friends, some new people who was really nice to get to meet. I think everybody was actually really chuffed with it. It was a really nice energy on set. Everybody felt like they really got it, which has been nice. It's been good.
We're in a shopping centre in Banbury at the moment. Banbury just because it's in between where we live. Not convenient for any of us, but it basically the film is about like it's got like themes of capitalism, like corporatism. That's a lot of what Christmas is, like the toys, and they don't make the toys in house anymore. They order them from Amazon, so it's like we're here because that's where they sell toys for Christmas. I don't feel like we need to mention this. This doesn't need to be in the video.
Yeah, I'm feeling festive. I'm feeling good. I think making this film helped a lot. And I've had an early Christmas dinner today, and I've been watching lots of Christmas movies and listening to a lot of Christmas songs. So I feel good.
What are your go-tos for Christmas in terms of films, songs? Do you always go back to?
I'll tell you that, okay, so I watched Love Actually for the first time ever 2 years ago, but that's already like an every Christmas kind of movie. Favourite Christmas songs, Driving Home for Christmas, and controversial choice, Christmas Lights by Coldplay is an absolute banger. I'm Have you listened to it though? Have you listened to it though? It slaps.
It's boring.
It's so good.
Nothing.
It's not nothing. It's a good song.
I mean, there's no real reason why I decided to make a Christmas film other than I love Christmas. I've never done one. I worked on a Christmas film when I was in sixth form, which was part of like why I got into directing. Really, is my mate made a short film called Death at Christmas, and it's one of the worst things ever made. But we were like 17, so it's gonna be. But we learned a lot from it. But it was also, they did a really good job like producing it. Like they got like adult actors, a really good like set. And so I kind of was like, this is really fun. And we did it after school with mates, and it just made me think like I love making movies with mates. And me and Alasdair and Josh and Ali, who were in the film, who both made by the feature and this elf film, we made a film together. Also terrible, but we love it. And so yeah, I mean, that's the only Christmas thing I've ever done before. And so I kind of I love the genre and just thought we'd do one really. And it also gave us a deadline. It made sure we actually wrote it, shot it, edited it like in sort of 2 months, whereas I don't know, I think when you start off like it's quite often easy to abandon projects, and I didn't really want that to happen, especially with Mayfly, sort of just my interest for the edit fizzling out. I wanted to power through something. Cut that down, that's boring. Next question.
Do you have any traditions you stick to?
Me and my family, like every Christmas Eve, will watch. They haven't realised this, but I just trick them into watching a movie that I really like on Christmas Eve, or like usually like my favourite movie of the year, and they always hate it. So that's kind of the closest we get to like a unique tradition. Besides that, it's presents, it's food, it's drinking. It's a good time. Come over.
Have you got your presents sorted yet?
Like 80%. Christmas is in 8 days, and I've got 2 more to get. So we're in good shape. This is much better shape than usual.
That's very good.
Thank you. This is hard because I want to be like, how about you?
Yeah.
But
I was going to say, if you've got a favourite present you've bought, could you divulge or give a hint towards?
Yeah. Well, my parents don't watch this, so I got my mum and dad. They're very like antsy about the dog when they're not home. So I got my mum and dad like a camera that they can put in the living room and like you can watch the dog with. But also you can talk through it, so they can talk to the dog when they're not at home, and they press a button and little treats drop out the bottom. So I think that all, my parents and the dog are gonna love it, and I'm excited to give that to them. Because also it's like the first Christmas where I'm like making money, and I'm like I can actually like afford to splash a little bit on people, which has been nice. It's more about the giving than the receiving. But maybe that's just me. It's just the kind of person I am.
I'd say that's the most humble interview you've ever had.
What did you say, Matt?
Nothing.
How did you get into writing?
So I wanted to do drama at uni, but I didn't want to go to like drama school. I was just very much like, what if I'm really bad at this and I don't stand a chance, so I ought to do it with something else. So I looked at like a lot of drama and English lit courses, and then there was like one uni course for drama and script writing, which is what I ended up doing. And then after about a year and a half of that, I was like, no, the writing is actually what I much prefer doing anyway. And it was good because I was not that good at acting. So that's how I started doing that. And I did some short plays and things, and I did a couple really bad ones that I cringe when I think about. And then I did some ones that I like slightly more. And now I'm doing stuff that I like even a little bit more than that. And maybe one day I'll write something which I'm actually like decent. I like it. It's good.
That's amazing. It's always great to hear trajectory and growth in the industry that we're in.
Yeah, right.
What's changed from the Elf film to one of the first pieces you wrote?
Oh man, oh god, so much. I don't know. You just kind of, I guess I'm a lot better at picking things that are interesting. Like I think it's a really weird lesson that a lot of writers don't learn right away, is that what you're doing is meant to be like, interesting and entertaining and exciting in some way, and not just like some bullshit that's come out of your brain. Like I've written a lot of things that are just like, this, I don't know, maybe I was just writing a lot of stuff because it was all performed for people that I knew. I was maybe writing things that like I thought maybe would say something interesting about me to them. But now I'm just like, oh, I just want to write like funny, goofy things, and that's just trying to do just more fun. So yeah, thinking a lot less about like how it's going to affect other people and more, do I like it? Which is, obviously really obvious advice, but it's good advice.
Well, I mean, I love writing. I really do. It's one of my favourite things. I probably maybe like modern directing, probably not. But in fact, I love doing it. All I care about at the end of the day is that the film is good, and I think if I write it with Alasdair, the film will be more good, and so that's why I do it with him. And we work really well together as a team. Like, he's really good at sort of drama stuff, serious stuff, and he's also really funny. Whereas I think I struggle a lot more with the serious stuff, but I don't know. We have our strengths and weaknesses, but I think we work together really well, and I hopefully we will carry on doing stuff together.
I think me and Matt like definitely work really well as collaborators. Like I think he's not afraid to be like, this is bad, this is rubbish, this isn't gonna work. He does not mind saying that, which is a very useful skill. Which is not. It's not the kind of thing that you might want a friend to say, like, when you're putting on an outfit before a party, but it's the kind of thing that if you're making something that you want people to pay to see, that is pretty vital. So he's very good at that. He's very funny. He's if there's a joke that you like, he probably came up with it.
I agree with that also.
Okay.
But no, I think Alistair's jokes are funny.
But I think we have a pretty natural balance between us of like, will tend to lean a lot more into drama, and like I like my long monologues.
And I like cutting down your long monologues.
Yeah, exactly. Like Matt is a good. This isn't our entire dynamic, obviously, but he's a good sieve for me, where I can put everything in, and he can be like, no, this is the stuff we need, and we'll get rid of everything else. So yeah, and I think that even in the Elf film, it's been a lot of the same things, but we work a lot quicker now. I think we've got through maybe like 6 or 7 drafts of this like 10-page thing before we landed on what we liked, which again is part of the process. But yeah, we're probably going to work on a few things in the future, and watch Mayfly when it comes out June 26th.
What?
You heard it here first.
Don't lock that in.
Heard it here
Cut
first.
that.
Put it in your calendars.
Could you give us 2 truths and 1 lie about the both of you, please?
Yeah.
Sure.
So, shall I start?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. We met doing the school play. Well, we met in Miss Cashmore's English, but we did the school play together.
Oh, yeah.
Same with a bunch of, and we were in the same general set, so I guess maths and stuff as well. But we did the school play together, as with some of the other cast of the film, like Josh, who plays Bilius. One of the school plays that we were in, one of the actors was in blackface.
We were 13.
Yeah.
It was my friend Chris. He was in blackface. That's number one. Here's a second truth, or a lie. Matt and I created a boy band together with 2 other people, Josh and Ali, who are both the other stars of Mayfly, and Josh plays Bilius in the Elf film.
And Ali
is the voice of the
He
tannoy.
says like 1 minute to slate lunch. Yeah.
And we created a boy band together, and we sang at our school talent show.
Yeah.
And then we created a documentary about it and our rise to stardom.
Yeah.
And then,
So shall I do the third one?
Yeah, sure.
Because we fucked this up.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fun. I'll do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So the third one is I killed your dog. So like I just took it out of your home, and then I just skinned it, and then I ate the meat, and then I like made a rug out of its pelt, and I'm gonna give that to you for Christmas. Because it's a really beautiful dog, and dogs don't last forever, but a pelt, that's gonna look stunning on your bedroom floor. Because your house, your roof's a bit of a tip, but that would be really nice. And the head, I've left the head intact, so that's like right there, and it looks pretty realistic. You can like do it like a puppet if you want to. And so that's just, it's not even that big. I mean, it's not a big dog, but yeah. You don't have to get me anything that big.
Did you draw from any specific pools of inspiration for the Elf?
I mean, once we decided it was going to be a mockumentary, which was again another thing that was just, we have so much to film in 2 days. We have to sort of have an excuse for it being a bit shitty looking. So you can do scenes in one shot if it's a mockumentary, and you can have the camera work be a bit rough. And that was just another one of these, like, you know, cost saving things. But once we decided it was going to be like a mockumentary, we could realise things we could parody. And I mean, we didn't deliberately do The Office, but like, because it's in an office and it's a mockumentary, of course there's going to be like sort of similarities like that. In fact, like, I deliberately tried to write Hitting, the like boss character, as like not like Michael Scott or David Brent, and then Ellie was just like doing all these like little looks into the camera, and I didn't want to tell her don't do that because it was really funny and it worked so well and she did it brilliantly. But it's like, I don't want to just do a parody, but it ends up being that. And I think sort of Creature Comforts was one for me, and Come Fly With Me, where it's sort of see people in the different places and they're being interviewed, they talk about what they do, but there's not much plot. It's more just like a series of funny vignettes, and we sort of added a bit of story to the final act. But it's pretty much just I don't know. I think it's just a concept thing. So it's just the concept is, what if the elves in the North Pole's jobs are actually really boring? What are they like in the 21st century? And so we just sort of explored that concept, and so it's sort of just a series of jokes, really.
I think one of the best writers of all time, and definitely the best living screenwriter, is Vince Gilligan, who wrote Breaking Bad. He created Breaking Bad, and a bunch of other very talented people also wrote it, and then he co-created Better Call Saul, which is my favourite show of all time. And those are definitely, like, Breaking Bad is, I think, what I watched and was like, I want to be kind of doing something that is making things like this. And it's something I wanted to figure out that was writing, and that's like where the story came from most. But yeah, those are the bigger ones. I mean, that's the one guy. Like, if you ever ask me like who my hero is, it'd be Vince Gilligan. And people say like, who do you want to have like dinner with? If you could pick anybody, it'd be Vince Gilligan. Basically, I have a bit of a crush on Vince Gilligan.
Is it his approach to characters or situations?
It's story, like it's structure. Like he gives such good, like, I mean, whenever he talks about like sitting in a room and like spending weeks and weeks and months breaking stories. And I think that like it's his approach to patience. Like, I think everybody could be a really, really good writer if they just sat down and spent ages thinking out every single option and what it could all be. I mean, like, you know, we wrote Elf Film, which is, you know, the short title. I'm not going to say the full thing every time, but we wrote it in like 2-3 weeks, and I'm proud of it. But like, you know, if it had a year, then it would have been, you know, 30 times as good, because like that's all writing is exploring as much as you can in the time that you have and picking whatever comes out that's most interesting.
Could you give us an impression of your favourite line from a Vince Gilligan project?
You want me to do like my fucking Walter White impression? Fuck. Oh well, now I'm drawing a blank. I'll give you. But I'll give you. So I just give you a Better Call Saul. I feel like that's like a real iconic. Wait, no, I'm gonna give you. If you've seen Better Call Saul, then you'll know. It'll be really loud. Just be really loud for a second. Lightning burst from my fingertips. I don't even think that's the right line, but it's lightning something. Thunder, maybe? Lightning.
The bit where he's like shouting the
Howard Hamlin, yeah. Lightning something from my fingertips. Shoots! Lightning shoots from my fingertips. Is that what I said? I don't know. I think I said burst. Anyway, but there you go. That's all you're getting.
Yeah, I mean, everything we've done has been basically zero budget. I think like Mayfly's budget was, I don't know, about $1,000, and then this is like £100 for a few props, and that's about it. So I think I don't know. I really like. So my favorite thing about making films really is like the problem solving of it all. Like realizing like, right, this is the plan and this is our resources, and sort of being like, okay, well, what can we do to make it as impressive as possible? So like Mayfly was basically, okay, we've got no money, so we need it to look nice. Let's shoot it in nice locations, and let's have a small number of cast. And and then like have like one scene where we have loads of extra, so we'll have one day for that. And this was also a similar, and my uni film was like that too. We got no money, but we want to make something that's impressive, so we were like, okay, well, let's film in like museums where they've got old buildings, and we'll just use cool sets that are already there. And I think Elf Films kind of was similar. It was sort of high concept, but the whole joke of it is that it's this fun fantasy world that you think is a certain way, but it's actually no different to our own, and it's also like a really boring corporate thing. And so just shooting in an office was, I think it makes it funny. I think if it was higher budget, I don't think it would work quite as well. And I think, yeah, there's so many stories you can tell with no money, and I think we've just sort of got good at learning that. And also, like, which from redrafting the script, like, I think I've got an idea now of what's shootable and what isn't. So Alasdair will write something. Like, the earlier draft, he wrote, like, there was, like, a scene, like, basically, there's a bit in the film where they talk about, like, we used to make all the toys here in the factory, and then Amazon was created, and then Alasdair wrote like this stop motion, like claymation flashback to the origins of like how Amazon was involved with the North Pole Limited. And I just wrote in draft 2, like, Alasdair, we're not doing this. I'm not. How much time do you think I have? I'm not animating that. And so a lot of it is that it's just, you have to have a conversation with people and just be like, right, how can we actually genuinely do this? And then often the answer is we can't. What's a similarly funny ending? Like, the ending of it was originally like, Fizzwhip gets in a sleigh and he delivers presents to like all the rough kids in the rough places, which before they said they didn't drop them off to. Like, and then we just were like, it's too hard. And so we just didn't. We changed it literally the night before. We were in the pub and we came up with an ending that was like a sort of documentary parody where it's got text and picture and it says what happened to the characters since. And we thought it'd be funny if they all died. And so we just we wrote that the night before, and then we just filmed a bit of B-roll and put a bit of text in, and I think it works as a funny ending. Because Alasdair said to me, like, this new ending we got is just anticlimactic, and he was right. And so, yeah, I think a lot of it is you just need to know from experience, sort of shooting on a low or no budget, what you can do and what you can't, and what can be entertaining enough and like funny and feel like spectacle even when it's actually pretty low budget.
So Mayfly drew a lot from personal experience, from growing up together, going to school together in school plays.
Yeah.
I was involved in Mayfly, very lucky to be involved. I'm very excited to see it get finished.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you for being involved.
Thank you for having me.
That's all right. No, you're very talented.
Oh,
I feel that's what you say in interviews, isn't it? You say everyone's very talented and special. But it's true.
I need at least one. I'm never working with him again in this interview.
Oh, well, we'll get there. Easy. Cut that.
But this is the first project I've worked with both of you on that's very detached from reality.
Yeah.
It's a lot higher concept. It isn't based maybe as clearly in personal experience. So how did you approach writing something like this compared to something like that?
Well, this, I think the reason it's probably so distant from like us personally is because Matt came to me and he was like, I want to make a Christmas short film and have it out for Christmas on fucking like November 15th or something, like early November maybe.
Editing is really boring, and I was sick of doing Mayfly, and I wanted to do another short.
Yeah.
So this is just one big procrastination.
Yeah, exactly. And I did know that like I was only going to get Matt back on Mayfly.
An interview for a short instead of me editing. I should be at home editing Mayfly.
But yeah, it is a lot more distant. I think that what it came from, Mayfly was a lot more like us sitting down and talking about like, not necessarily theme. I don't really like sitting down and talking about like themes and stuff like before the writing process, but like talking about like the feeling that we wanted audiences to leave with and like more the message. And that is something that I think both felt very personal and like alive in me and Matt, but also like most 25-year-olds. Like it's about kind of feeling lost while you're growing up and you know what it feels like to not know what direction your life is going in or if it's going to amount to anything. and just kind of the general anxieties that I think all people have, but are especially like Persian in your mid-20s. Is that is Persian right there?
That's something, huh?
Look Persian up in the dictionary before you use this.
Put an asterisk there.
Thank you. Yeah, just put a little ding and then have it. Nice. But yeah, this is just, I think we just kind of started writing about elves in the workplace, and more of our subconscious takes on working environments came through. Like, obviously, I mean, I think there have been previous drafts that are more, I don't want to say realised, but like more explicit critique of capitalism. I think the current one still is, but like, yeah, this is more, we wanted to do a workplace comedy, and putting the jokes first is what really mattered. And like, I think if you really picked apart the politics of the elf film, then you'd be like, oh, this is very pessimistic, and it doesn't really feel very honest and true to like the world we live in. But it's just meant to be funny. Like that's all it is. It's like we want to just do good jokes, and these are the good jokes we came up with.
And something you do very well is comedy. That's
Yeah.
something that shines through in Mayfly,
Thank you.
and
Yeah.
something that I've seen shine through in the drafts of the elf film that I've seen. Is there a way you would approach that compared to the dramatic side? I know you talked about your favourite jokes were Matt's, and Matt's favourite jokes were yours. But how could I watch that and say, oh, that's a Matt joke, that's an Alasdair joke, or is there not a way to do
I
that?
think you can tell.
Yeah, I think you could tell. I think I will normally. I think I probably have most of the more absurd jokes. Matt is very good at like the character comedy. I'd say like some of the more like moment to moment jokes will be Matt's, and then I'm more of a fan of like building. Like I like to start and lay the groundwork and then come back and give you the punchline a little bit later on. Like there's my character has a moment towards the end of the film which is like my biggest joke of the whole movie, that is just basically just sprinkled out throughout and then climaxes at the end, whereas Matt has jokes that will be like more casually given and are meant to like keep the audience laughing consistently throughout a scene, which I can't really do. Like I'm quite bad at making sure that there is like a pretty good barrage of comedy coming. I get tunnel vision, which again is why we're good collaborators. I look out if there's something really really funny, I wrote it. Let's go with that.
As you're both contractually obligated to give one, do you have at least one double feature for the elf film?
Elf film with Rogue One because everybody dies at the end.
Elf film and Arthur Christmas because of every single similarity.
There's about
There's
5
a
or 6
Scottish
of them.
elf that ends with saying what happened to the characters, but that ends with like, and they are happy, and this ends with, and they died.
Yeah.
And also there's like tape.
Yeah.
There's a thing with 3 tapes in that too.
Elf film with Parasite because it's a scathing review of capitalism, and it will win Best Picture.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Elf film with It's a Very Very Four Straight Guys Christmas special because Josh Harper says on the world instead of in the world.
Yeah. That's kind of all I've got.
That's
I'm not,
all I've
this
got.
is not a skill that I have.
No, I'll let you behind the curtain.
Yeah.
We take a long time to think of them before we do the podcast.
I can imagine.
We don't come up with them on the fly.
No.
Right,
Well,
I think we're done, aren't we?
all right.
Yeah.
See you later then.
So-
See you.
Bye. Watch this movie.
I really think you should watch this, right? And I think you'd love it. And it's only 15 minutes long. Like, what's 15 minutes in your life?
Yeah, exactly.
What better things are you doing? Probably nothing.
Can I ask you some questions? Do you like to laugh?
Yeah?
Do you like to joy?
I love to joy.
Do you love the festive time?
Oh boy, do I. It's all I ever talk about.
Then you'll bloody love this movie.
Will I?
Yeah. Yes.
Where can I watch it?
YouTube.
Yeah.
Message you for the link.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll go on publicly at some point.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be on my channel, Matthew Vivian.
Yeah, go on and search.
And subscribe because I've got about 12 and I need more than that. That's not very many.
That's true, you do need more than 12.
I think I've got
Um,
a bit more actually, but.
Go on YouTube and search in this order, these words in this order, the elf that's making your...
I think it's who's making it all.
The elf
Can you do it?
who's-
Can you do it word for word, like bouncing back? between each other.
Yeah.
The
Elf.
who's
Making.
your
Toys.
makes
No, it's on, I think.
is fuck. Okay. The
Elf.
who's
Making.
your
Toys.
is
On.
£9
Pounds. Hour.
and
Hates.
his.
Job.
You got all the good words.
Well, that's the way. That's why I came up with the title. So when we got to this
For
bit.
that reason. Okay. Bit of tongue in the teeth for lips. Want to go one more time?